You're listening to Making Money Online with Lisa Johnson, the podcast that tells you what it really takes to build a business and the simple steps to get you there. I'm determined to share with you the reality of easy, simple business marketing tips to make passive income so that you can start making money online. Making Money Online is sponsored by Nicola J. Rowley PR, helping entrepreneurs and brands get visible through strategic storytelling. If you're serious about being seen and impacting the lives of others, harnessing the power of PR is the best way to grow and scale your business. Visit njrpr.com for more details and read Nicola's best-selling book, The Power of PR. Hello and welcome to this week's podcast. I apologise if there is an echo. I'm still in the room with echo that I will eventually leave and go and stay in a house that has much less echo in it so that these podcasts can sound a little bit better than they do right now. But I really wanted to speak to this guest, so I didn't want to wait and do it with all of the others. So I have somebody with me today that I've been working with for the last year and a bit, really. And she's an amazing person, does brilliant things with memberships. And she had her confidence knocked a while back. And it's been amazing to watch her journey from, really doubting herself to realizing that she's brilliant at what she does. And I know that there's so many of you out there that have had your confidence knocked in one way or another. Life does this to us all the time. And so I really wanted you to learn from Sam about what she learned about herself, because I think it's important to all of us. So welcome, Samantha Hill, to the podcast.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So let's just start with where you were. So you were working for lots of different people at the time, weren't you?
Yeah. I was working in like small and big memberships, managing communities.
Yeah, and you were known for that. Like, I know you were behind the scenes, but people kind of knew what you were doing and that you were helping people with their memberships.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm quite visible in what I do, like in other people's memberships. So people didn't necessarily know me for me. They know me for being in other people's membership communities.
Yeah, and what kind of stuff were you helping with the memberships? Like, what kind of stuff were you helping? Like, did you go in and do all the back end stuff, or what was your bit?
Yeah, so pretty much everything, really. I'm like the secret behind it. So I was doing all of the admin, all the customer service, running all of the like tech behind the scenes of the memberships. And I was really hands-on with all of the community people as well. So I got to know people really well. And
I think that's brilliant. I think people don't realise that when you have a membership, it is rarely the person, especially with a bigger company, and a bigger name, it's rarely the person that is running the membership that is actually running the membership. There usually is a secret behind the membership. In my membership, it's Sam and Shelley that are running it, and they're the people that do all the great work and make it what it is, and I show up. And I think that's the same in quite a lot of memberships, and people don't realise it. And Sam really was that. I knew her back then. She really was that the secret behind all these brilliant memberships. So what were you feeling confident then when you were doing these jobs? Were you confident then, or did something happen to make you not?
Yeah, I was growing a new business and I was really confident. I'm quite a bubbly, outgoing person anyway, and I love supporting people. So yeah, I was really confident then, and then I wasn't.
What happened? I know you can't tell us everything, and I think it wouldn't be the right thing to.
No.
What kind of thing happened that to make you not feel confident anymore?
So as I said, I was part of big communities where I wasn't really known for me. I was known for those people. And then I was not in those communities and I left. My confidence just went because I was convinced that I wasn't very good at what I was doing and I was only known for them and not me. And I become somebody I didn't really recognize, to be honest. And a lot of horrible things were said to me that other people didn't know, and I couldn't discuss anything. And it just wasn't very nice. I think online business world is not very nice sometimes.
Well, you know that I talk about this on here all the time, how it can be like Definitely. That. And I think that this is something that happens sometimes where we allow external validation to decide who we are. So somebody suddenly says we're not very good at our job, or when we're not a nice person, or they don't want to work with us, or any of those kind of things. And we can make it mean more than it should mean, because we don't really know why people's actions are. Like, somebody could have told you you're not very good at your job, when really it could have been because they were threatened by how good you were at your job. There's a million reasons why people say different things and make you feel less than. And it's generally, not always, but generally not about us when these things happen. It's usually about something that's going on with them. But unfortunately, it can leave us feeling less confident because of that external validation that we're used to. So what happened to you during that time of not feeling like yourself?
I hid. Essentially. So I didn't speak to anyone. I stopped posting on social media. I lost confidence in what I knew. So I didn't believe myself anymore. I think having the external validation, like you were saying, like that really affected me. Like I needed someone to tell me that I was good at what I was doing, and that wasn't happening. So I just convinced myself in my head that that was it. And then I stopped doing anything, which had detrimental effects on my mental health and on my business as well.
Yeah, it can. Great. No, and it massively can affect your mental health, because when you stop working and you stop doing the thing that you loved, it can really affect you.
Yeah.
And it's really hard to get out of. Like, if we're honest about it, when you're in that kind
really of hard.
When your self-esteem is low and you're in that kind of funk, and especially like you said, you couldn't really discuss it with anyone because there's always some kind of NDA or like this going on, and whether it's a client mentor relationship, or whether it's an employee relationship, or whether it's a freelance relationship, there's usually an NDA involved. And so when these things happen, you can't talk to anyone about it, and so you just start convincing yourself more and more that actually it's good and you are the bad person. So when were you able to start thinking, hold on, I need to do something about this, something needs to change, otherwise it's going to really affect my life?
I got to January last year, so January 2022, and I was like, right, okay. I was still like, my confidence wasn't there at all, but I needed somewhere else to go to help with that, like building that back up or just believing in myself. So I'm a big fan of people, like having the right support around you. And that's when I decided to come into DI with your lovely self. And that was a changing point for me, having that support around you of people that understood. But it took a long time. It wasn't just I'll come into DI and my confidence was back. It's been a long journey.
Yeah, it has. What steps did you take internally to change your belief system around who you were?
I really had to kind of have a word with myself a lot. I've done a lot of work on myself this year. I've tried everything from journaling to, I started doing art again because that helped me, forcing myself to reach out and actually talk to people and stepping out into like networking. I remember that the first meetup I think we had in DI for London,
you didn't
I was meant to come and I couldn't because my anxiety at the time was so bad and my confidence had been like trodden down that I just couldn't even get on the train. Yeah. And so I think that was a turning point for me because I felt like networking like fills my cup up and I couldn't come. And it made me really sad. So I then started reaching out for help and I encourage you to talk to somebody, like, so I spoke to you and, and I've worked through things that weren't my fault and started slowly but surely starting to believe in what I was doing. But yeah, it's been a lot of self-work and I hate that. Like, I always listen to people saying, you have to work on yourself, Sam. And I'm like, really?
Yeah, but you do. You really do.
And I never thought it would affect my business so much. Like, I just didn't, when I come into business, I've been self-employed for 15 years and I never thought I'd have to work on myself so much. And coming into DI, I thought it was going to be like, just work on your business and it'll all be okay.
Everyone thinks that. It's always about working on yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what strategy you have. If you don't work on your belief systems around yourself and what you can do, and there'll be people listening to this right now who have the strategy. They know they're good at what they do. They know they can do it, but they have a belief system about themselves, a narrative in their own head that is telling them they're not good enough. And that might have come from a parent when they were younger. It might have come from an ex-boss, like mine was. It might have come from bullies online. It could be anything that makes you feel less than. And we don't realize an effect that can have. But what I love that you've done and what you're teaching people here is that if you do start working on yourself, and whether it's journaling, different things work for different people, whether it's talking to a group of people, whether it's working out what you do love about yourself, not just what you don't like about yourself, but there are things that we all like about ourselves, and remembering those things and giving ourselves a different story, a different narrative to put in place. It's not an overnight thing, as you know. No. It takes some time, but it makes a massive difference. And you are a different person today than when I first met you. You're so confident. You know what you do, and you know you're really good at it. And I think that takes work. And I really wanted to honor that you've done that work and that you have come out the other side of it. And you're now, you have this brilliant business. And I want to talk about that business because I know that there's people that need your help with that business as well. So you help people with memberships now, and you actually have a membership, don't you?
Yeah, finally.
Finally, she has a membership. She needed a membership the whole time. And what's your membership called?
The membership, which you named.
I kind of named with you, but it's I do love the name. So the membership. So you help people who have memberships to do what?
So I help them retain and grow mostly. I do help launch as well, but the retention piece is so important. That's what I learned over years of working in communities and memberships. You can do as many launches as you like and get as many people in, but if they don't want to stay, then it's just a roller coaster round and round of doing it. So if you can work on the retention side and get that piece right, then you'll last.
Yeah, absolutely. And with that, what do you see as the biggest reason that people aren't retaining their members?
Overwhelm is the biggest one. So people throw the kitchen sink at their memberships.
I did that. In the first year of business, I was like, wow, if I just give them more and more and more, yeah. And everyone left. I was like, hold on, what's happening?
Yeah, because you're confusing them. So if you think to yourself, like, you've got a business owner that needs help, but they don't really know what they need, and they're coming into a membership and then it's full of stuff and they don't know what to do with it. Like, we only ever remember like what we did last month. Like, not, you might have someone in your membership for 6 months, they'll leave because they haven't had value for that last month. Like, people don't remember what they're getting out of it. So you need to have like a clear roadmap in your membership. Don't throw the kitchen sink. Like, most memberships are low cost, so you don't want to be giving away everything because you want somewhere to go for, with your business.
Yeah, and that's another thing, actually. People often don't realize that their memberships can actually be a paid sales funnel for other programs that they have.
Definitely. Your membership, like, people forget to sell in there. They're like the best people to sell to because they already know, like, and trust you, like, which you say all the time, so it's an easy one to sell. That's the best way to make money.
Yeah, it really is. And I think retention is a massive part of things. And I also think one of the things that people don't do is look at what's happening in the membership and evaluating. So, like, what is happening that is good, that people like? And this could be, you could have surveys out there and all sorts of things. But basically, looking at how things have changed, because memberships that I saw working a year ago aren't working as well now. And I'm not exactly sure why that is, but I've definitely seen that out there with some of my clients. They're like, those people loved it. And now they're kind of like, they don't love it quite so much.
I think people, when you open a membership, I think people think it has to stay the same all the time. And I tell my clients, like, be open-minded, like, things can change, people change, like, circumstances change. And I think you have to change your membership with that. If you're not evaluating it, then you're never going to know what's working and what isn't. And I think we're very quick to see the good things and we don't want to see the bad, so we ignore them.
Yeah,
but actually, that's the bit you need to know. And you almost need to create a community where they're happy to tell you what's wrong as well.
How do you create a community like that?
Well, you need to be really open with them and know that, you're not going to treat them differently if they tell you something bad. Or like I saw a really good example of this in a membership I was doing an audit on recently. And they, in their welcome video, they actually said, like, if you've got any problems, please reach out to us. Like, make it easy for people to tell you what's wrong. And then they will.
Yeah, they will. And that's okay. Like, take that on board as feedback rather than as criticism, which is
exactly.
easy to do. So you do audits on people's memberships. What do you look for in the audits?
So my audits, I look for all the good things first, because I think there's nothing worse than just going in and telling them that everything's
bad.
So I look for the good things first, and then I look for onboarding is probably the biggest one, to make sure that people are onboarding their clients correctly. A lot of the time it's missed, or it's done and you never look back at it. Like, you might have put your onboarding in place like 4 years ago and then never changed it. So I look at that. Offboarding, win back campaigns, people don't do those ever. I don't know why. If you've had people leave your membership, the chances are they don't hate your membership. It's probably because it just wasn't the right time, or they were overwhelmed. So invite them back. And they will come back.
One of the things that we've just started doing in ours is because we realize that because I'm not constantly running the whole thing on my own anymore, there's not quite so much the personal touch that it had at the beginning. Like, at the beginning of my membership, I had 500 people and I knew every single member. I knew what they did and I knew them. And because it's changed quite a lot, my business, in the last few years, it's not exactly the same anymore. And I don't know every single person and what they do like that quickly. So Sam, who runs the membership, what he's now doing is when someone decides they want to leave, he's writing to them personally, not like a automated thing, literally personally, just sending them a quick message or email saying, I've got your thing saying you wanted to leave. I just wanted to see if there's anything I can help you with, or if you couldn't find anything, or if you can give us feedback. Just so there's that personal interaction there. And already that's helping. Like, he's been able to point people in different directions and they've changed their mind and gone, oh, well, I didn't know that was there, or I didn't know you were doing that. So actually, yeah, I'll stay in. And often we forget just the basic things I did, basic things that we can do just to check that people are happy.
Yeah, I think the personal touch thing is massive. Like, I've literally just been teaching this on my retention course of my membership, is we forget, like, everything's automated now. Like, let's just automate everything and it will save our lives. Like, it's great, automation needs to happen, but the personal touch goes a long way. Like, if you can make someone feel like they're special and that you actually care, then they're going to stay. And as you say, that doesn't necessarily need to be you, because let's face it, as you grow a membership and it gets massive, there's no way you're going to be able to reach out to that's all you'll be doing. Like, so having someone like Sam there that, like, people know, and we're all getting to know Sam more now because he's in there. Having him do that, it takes 5 minutes, but that'll have meant so much to that one person. And I think we all need to remember that the members are people.
Agreed.
Not another number on a stat that,
Absolutely. And that's why I think that the easiest way to show people you care is to actually care.
Yeah, like, actually care. Yeah, definitely. And it's, I think people start memberships to get recurring revenue, which is obviously you're the queen of. And we all want that, absolutely. But also, if you're going to start a membership, do it because you want to. Do it because you care about the members and what they're getting, and you want to serve them, because otherwise they're the memberships that aren't going to last.
And if you think about it, there are so many good reasons for a membership. Like, the reason that I started mine in the first place was because people couldn't afford to work with me in my other packages. So I was just trying to find a way. I was a very early membership adopter. We're talking nearly 6 years now. And I was thinking, well, how can I help people on a different scale, but still be a little bit of me? And that's why we started it, to help people grow. And actually, it's been brilliant for my business, because people generally come into the membership, make some money in there by the things that they've learned from the trainings that I've put in there. And then because of that, they can then afford to come into my other program. So it's a win-win situation to make sure that membership is really good and actually does help people.
Yeah, it's definitely a case of like, don't leave money on the table a lot of the time as well. Like, I started my membership finally after a year of thinking about it because of that reason, because I had higher ticket things that people couldn't afford. So the membership, but also like circling back on what you were saying about confidence, like my membership's given me confidence.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I've got a little tribe of people now that like know me. And so that's given them the opportunity, like, to get to know me more.
But
And
also it gives you the opportunity to get to know your ideal client more, because that's where they are.
For sure. Yeah, exactly. Like everybody in your membership that you've got, Lisa, it allows them to get to know you. And so then it's an easier decision to buy more from you. So it's a kind of no-brainer, really, to have a membership in your business. I think
I've loved having mine. And there's been plenty of times when during strategy, people have said, it's probably not the best thing to have because you want to be a bit more exclusive now. You don't want to be giving things for this kind of pricing and shouldn't have too much of you in it. But I love it. I love that these are people, some of them that have been in there 6 years and have, been cheerleading me that long. Like, why would I get rid of that? Like, I think it's such a nice place to be. And I always feel I've done Wind Down Friday and Lunch with Lisa now for 6 years. And every single week I can check in with my members. And if anything's going on in the world, like I can see how people are feeling really quickly because they'll tell me. So if they're worried about spending, I can see that beforehand. During the pandemic, it was brilliant to have that connection with people when people were going through things. I just think it can be a great thing to do. And I'm so pleased that there are people like you that are helping people to have memberships and to grow memberships, because they do change. And you're always like, you have the pulse of it. You know what's changing, what's not, because you've been in memberships for so long. And that's a brilliant thing to do. If people want to come and check you out, maybe they're thinking of having a membership, or maybe they know they're losing too many people and they need to get some retention strategies in place, where's the best place for them to come and find you?
So Instagram, I'm on Samantha J Hill on Instagram. I've got a free Facebook group, the Membership Lounge. So come over there and have a chat with me. Find out all the details there.
We will put those little links in the show notes for you, so you can go straight down there and have a look. But thank you for being here, Samantha. I can't wait to see what you do over the next few years. It is really exciting. And thank you everybody for listening. And if you're ever in a position where you don't feel as confident as you used to be, maybe something has happened, could even be the pandemic, that made a lot of people not feel as confident anymore. Perhaps something went wrong in business, or perhaps somebody made you feel like you weren't worth anything. Well, know that you can turn things around and you can get back to not just who you were before, but an even better version of who you were before, just by using some simple strategies, whether it's journaling, whether it's reaching out for help, which is an important one that not so many people do, whether it's doing some work on yourself. All of these things are going to help you get back there. And so please don't let yourself stew in a place where you're not feeling good enough. I will see you next week. Whatever you're doing this week, have an amazing time.
Thank you for listening to Making Money Online with Lisa Johnson. If you'd like to get hold of my guide to launching, go to lisajohnson.com/launch and let's get you making money online.